Welcome back to Rollplay, Court of Swords, episode number 132. The fight is done, and to the victors, the spoils. So, Ramus, you've already claimed the beautiful crown of Princess whatever her name was. So, I mean, I think that's the thing, is that the two of you return from the Dwarven control console, and 10 Pillars probably like weighs 30 extra pounds just out of sweat, just like clothes sodden. I mean, you're all like exhausted, but as you come out, you see like the shattered remains of this golem. You see all of the lava in this room is sort of hardened.
But you don't see me and Berg.
Yes, yeah, Berg and Maharib.
Elahay, that's her name.
You don't see him, yeah.
We just left.
And you turn and you see now that Ramus is wearing this beautiful dwarven crown.
I take out my pipe, I clean out the remains, and I just stare at you the whole time, like lighting up the pipe. Just suits you.
Well, it has historical value. I didn't want it to go to, get damaged in the fire.
If I didn't have allegiance already, I would pledge fealty to you.
Well, thank you, sir.
So what are you two doing? You've bashed the doors open. You hear like that. You have that sense of like impending doom has like started to fade. You can sense the mountain is going to collapse in on itself. And
think
there's
we're
cool
probably
air
like
coming in from the tunnels.
We're both like laying on the ground because we just felt like slammed through the door.
Smash and tumble forward.
And it's the moment of realization of, hey, we're not dead.
Yeah.
So I'd look at Berg. Berg, we're still alive, right? This isn't hell.
We did it.
I don't think they must have. I stand up, kind of brush myself off, and maybe turn around and see.
Like Berg gets up from his knee.
Yeah, see the two of them standing probably 100 yards off.
When you guys are done relaxing, come and join us.
Yeah, right. All right. Brush all myself off, help Berg up.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
I think I lie down in the gold and just angels.
So yeah, you come back to find Ramus making gold angels.
Yep. I walk and get the cup or whatever.
So if you walk over. Let me describe this stuff. We can take inventory. So it looks like literally what happened is during a period of crisis, right? Such they couldn't bring the treasure in and then like sort it or put it in shelves or in a vault. It looks like dwarves were just bringing in chests of gold and art and gems and just literally dumping them at the feet of their queen, going and filling them up and dumping them again. So there's piles of gold. So
is it just gold or
no?
are
So
items
in a mix,
scattered?
So there's a mix of like statuary, jewelry, gems, gold and platinum pieces. There's nothing like worth less than a gold. There's no silver. No, she's a big deal. So you would guess in just pure like liquid treasure and GP value, you round it to 30,000 gold. So there's just like that much in gold and jewels. And yeah, you'll have to get a crew down here and like fill some chests up and take it back out. But there's a shit ton of gold down here. You also find a case, a wooden case, with 12 potions in it. So just an array of potions. They're all the same like bluish color, but the last two are darker blue and are like slightly luminous.
What's the expiration date on those, though? They got a lot number?
No, yeah, exactly.
10,000 years.
Was this examined by top men?
Best before negative 12,000. So you find this thing of 10 potions. There are 2 spell scrolls, which I think at a glance, like Ramus, you can tell what they are. One is a scroll of Dominate Monster, and the other is a scroll of Shape Stone. Oh. So you find those. There is indeed the black glass and ruby goblet. So you find that. There is a beautiful. It looks like it's silver, like a breastplate. When you pull it up out of the thing, it's big enough you could throw it on. There's a breastplate made of this like silvery material, but it's like steel. It's not actually silver. It's like some kind of other metal. And then you find 2 what are clearly magical like rods. So there are three qualities of length of magic stick in Dungeons & Dragons. There's wands, which are thin and kind of long, and then there's rods, which are thicker around but shorter. And then there's staves, which are like 8 feet tall and kind of thick around. So it's like you find 2 rods, one of which has like a crown of what look like they're not buttons. They function as buttons, but they're like gemstones set around the outside. And you think you could probably push them. Like if you're holding them, you could push the buttons, just set them around there. The other one just looks like like an inanimate carbon rod. It's just this long. It's cut off. It's like a dowel of iron. It's a metal rod. And then there is a beautiful robe. And as you pull it up out of the treasure, it's like a midnight blue, and it's covered in silver and pearlescent eyes. So it's got like all these different eyes embroidered onto it. Yeah. So those are the special items that are in the pile of treasure on top of the 30,000 gold.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
That's just 30,000 gold for just like, I mean, we'll probably give some to the embers.
Probably give a lot to the embers.
What they were scared to come down here, okay?
Well, we just gave them 20,000 gold. Why should we?
No,
Yeah,
they're going to use it.
yeah.
They are doing us a big favor,
Yeah,
so
if
it makes
anything,
sense.
they're
It makes
doing us a
sense
huge
to
favor, yeah.
And we also did clear out this area for them.
And so
We cleared out the area.
having
We
gotten
are
through
owed
this, having
something.
gotten through this fight, you realize why the Embers of Imix would never have a chance against these things because
Yeah.
they're a hard counter, right?
Yeah.
Like all of their magic is fire, and they're like, I burn the golem, and the golem's like, ha ha ha.
I love fire.
Yeah, give me some more of that shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have done them a service. They are also helping you, right? Vani is helping you. So you can decide how kindly you care to be. But yeah, so massive pile of treasure.
I mean, I definitely am attracted to the armor. Like I walk over to it, but
if you want to spend an hour
I wouldn't even be able to-
sorting the treasure, I'll just tell you. What
I think
it
we
is.
definitely spend.
Yeah,
the
we
hour
do.
sorting
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
There's no
all right.
reason. There's no
There's so
threat,
much of
so we
it,
would just
yeah.
stay down
So-
there. It's not like they're waiting for us
So
to come up.
the
super quick.
goblet is a bowl of commanding fire
You,
elementals.
you sure it's not a goblet of fire?
So it is a chalice. It is a bowl of commanding fire elementals. Its name is Imix Folly. And with it, you can conjure and command your own fire elementals. The armor is an adamantine breastplate.
Pretty
So
good.
I
If
can't wear a
you-
breastplate anyways.
if you wear it, it makes you immune to crits. So you can't be critically hit
That's
in combat.
nice.
It has a lower armor class than like heavier armor, but you get that trade up of like not being able to get crit.
I can wear it then.
Yeah. So you can check it out to see who wears it. That one is called the Unyielding Steel of Deep King Zark.
I think it would make sense for you to have
And
it. Though.
on it
Not
has
after a name like that, you can't just toss the item. I don't know. That's not very
No,
good.
I say that just because I have all those protections of my shit.
Right.
If you have a protection against crits,
What's-
that's massive.
What's the name of that monster hunter or monster that kind of looks like a pangolin or an armadillo? What's that guy? And he
What?
rolls up in a ball and like rolls around. Baroth maybe or
Baroth is a guy from Monster Hunter.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm just trying to think of like what, because on the armor there is a
Is like a
depiction of
depiction
Zark,
of him?
and
Of
it's
Zark?
Zark in like his monstrous like steel dragon form with his like 8 legs and his impenetrable. And he's on it on the front, and then there's all these little like figures attacking him with spears, and the spears are breaking, and their swords are breaking, and they're all like,
Said
"Oh
Zark
no,
rules."
Zark!" Yeah, mighty Zark. Yeah, so you see that there's this breastplate, this adamantine breastplate. The rod, one of the rods, is called Dwarven Stubbornness. It is an immovable rod.
Oh, nice.
So for those of you not familiar, an immovable rod is just a piece of metal, and you take one end together and you twist them, and you let it go, and it cannot be moved by any means. It will just float in midair and cannot be moved. You can't push it or pull it, so you can use it for all kinds of weird things. So it's called Dwarven Stubbornness. I'm gonna have to get the description of this other rod because it does a lot of things. So the other rod is called the Edict of Queen Elahe the 12th. It is her like rod of command, her scepter, and it is a rod of lordly might, and it does a
wow.
whole bunch of weird shit. So it's a +3 mace first and foremost. It has 6 buttons. That you can press as a bonus action.
It's a crazy item.
Button 1 makes it into a flame tongue. A fiery blade springs from the end of it. If you press button 2, it becomes a +3 battle axe. If you press button 3, it becomes a +3 spear. If you press button 4, it becomes a 50-foot long climbing pole with a spike at the bottom and 3 hooks at the top, and horizontal bars fold out all the way up it, and it can bear up to 4,000 pounds. So it's a cool ladder. If you press button 5, it becomes a handheld battering ram with a +10 bonus to strength checks to break through doors.
Batter things all the time.
And then if you press button 6, it returns to its normal form and indicates magnetic north.
So it has a compass in the stock.
It also gives you your knowledge of your approximate depth below the ground or your height above it.
It's got a cup holder too.
Also, if you hit a creature with a melee attack using the rod, you can force them to make a Constitution save. On a failure, the target takes an extra 46 necrotic damage, and you regain that many health. You can do this once per day.
My God.
Or you can use it to paralyze a creature. If you make a melee attack, they have to make a strength save or become paralyzed for a minute. Or you can hold the rod aloft, and anyone that can see you makes a DC 17 Wisdom save or become frightened of you for 1 minute. So it's a Swiss Army rod.
That does everything.
That's a pretty good rod.
Yeah, no,
That's a good rod.
It's a pretty good rod there.
It's a pretty good rod. So that's the Edict of Queen Alahe the 12th. And then finally, the robe is Akhenaten's Unbroken Vigilance.
The robe of eyes.
And is a robe of eyes, yes. So a robe of eyes, let me see, I'll read it here. So the robe of eyes, you can see in all directions at once and have advantage on
writing all this
perception
down?
checks. So you're
Most of it,
always
yeah.
looking in all directions.
Right.
You get 120-foot dark vision. You can see invisible creatures and objects, as well as see into the ethereal plane, which we haven't really discussed or talked about in this universe, so that would be a fun thing to find out. The eyes on the robe cannot be closed or averted, though you can close or avert your own eyes. You're never considered to be doing so while wearing the robe. So it is dangerous if you fight stuff like Medusas or basilisks, because you can't
Right.
close your eyes unless you rip your clothes off and turn them inside out. Also, if someone casts a light spell on the robe or a daylight spell within 5 feet of you, you're blinded for a minute because you got the robe.
Yeah.
And it fills your eyes with blindness. So there you go.
What about the potions?
The potions are 8 potions of healing and 2 potions of supreme healing.
Okay.
So a potion of supreme healing.
Yeah, I think Dan's written all this down as well.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean I've got it in my notes.
Yeah, mine are terrible.
I can't remember how much a potion of supreme healing is, but it's like 2 steps up from a regular regular potion, I think.
68 or
Something
48
like that?
maybe?
Yeah, let me
The regular
Let's see
potion
if
is
it's in the
2d8
Dungeon
plus
Master's
level.
Yeah.
potion of healing. Supreme. 10d4 plus 20.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
geez.
better.
Wow.
It's very good.
10d4 plus 20, you get 2 of those.
Okay.
Yeah.
I use one of those fucking things right now.
You're just like,
hurting.
let's do shots.
yeah. Yeah. Shot.
So yeah, that's the treasure hoard. You will, I think all of those items require attunement.
Yeah.
So you'll have to kind of figure out who wants to use what and what you want to do, what you want to give up. So why don't we? I guess we could have that conversation now. Like,
There's a lot of in total. There was 5 magical items.
there
The
is
plate, the 2 rods,
the bowl,
cloak,
the bowl,
and the
the
bowl.
rods, the armor, and the robe. Yeah,
well, the
so
bowl
5.
we're using for
bowl,
the-
armor, rod, robe. Yeah,
the
5.
bowl is for the. We'll probably just give that to the embers, I would think,
Yes.
or at least to use.
Yep, that's going to be our vessel for the
Yeah,
ritual.
that's the vessel. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the AC of the plate? You said it was lower.
So it's a regular breastplate armor class, and then it's adamantine. So AC is 14. It's medium armor.
Trying to see what's the AC of plate. Is that
Let me see. Half plate is.
what about full
think-
plate?
Yeah, I'll check them both for you. So half plate is AC, I want to say 15. Yep. Half plate is 15, and plate armor is 18.
That's a lot of AC loss to not be crit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Medium
anything,
armor.
we could just sell that or give it to embers.
Well, can I wear that or
Yep.
I can?
But it would reduce your armor class.
Would it though?
Yeah. Because you're wearing.
I'm wearing half plate.
You're wearing half
Half
plate.
plate. Drop your armor class by 1.
That's not a bad
That's
trade-off.
not a bad
If you
trade-off.
do that though, then you're at 3 of 3 items. That's just FYI.
Yeah, you can wear it
Oh.
until you find the.
And you said it's medium?
It is medium armor, yes.
It depends on what we do with the other stuff. I don't know.
I mean, I can't stop using the axe, but I have 2 other slots. And aren't you full because of your rings?
Yeah, I have a ring, but I can unattune to one of them if I want.
Mhm.
I mean, someone should use that lordly thing.
Oh yeah.
The
for
Rod of
sure.
Lordly Might is like
It's
crazy.
insane. Yeah.
Crazy
I don't mind
powerful.
using it, but it's going to be like, I mean, it's a +3, so it's better.
Well,
Right out of the gate that I use.
here's where 10 Pillar speaks up and says,
They belong in a museum.
sort of, yeah. It's like, I think that rod is a symbol of this place. If it's as powerful as you say it is, then that would make for a fine addition as a gift to Imix. It represents the rulership of this place, and if it was given freely, I know the forge and the lava pit and all of this, but that place and this are connected. I'd obviously like to take it for myself. I'd like any one of you to have it, but like the crown, sorry, Remus, but I think the crown and the scepter belong here. That's just my opinion, of course.
I think I'm just pressing the buttons on it.
Right, because it's
Battle
like,
axe, spear,
yeah,
random
Ladder.
50-foot pole, and
Well,
like
the
a random
fire-
thing just pops up in front of everyone's
the
face.
flame, like a Rod of Lordly Might, when you
It's
press the
so
flame tongue
useful.
button, is literally a lightsaber, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like about this long, and you just go. Let me light your
so
cigarette for you.
It's so,
Pardon
it's
me.
so useful though.
It's incredibly useful. That's true. Gesundheit.
Thank you.
It would be very handy to have. If there is fighting to come, we may need it.
There's a lot of items here. We can't possibly use them all. Some of them will be gifts, without question.
Well,
Yes.
In my tribe,
Mm.
trying to use more than 3 magic items gets you killed.
Yeah. Yeah. Duh.
Would Imix care more about a weapon or a symbol of rulership that was directly against him?
He looks at the crown. Don't you dare.
he puts it behind his back.
What crown?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Whatever is the gift, it's going to melt. It's not going to be something that he uses. So, I think you have a good point. The rod would be a great gift.
Its worth is immeasurable.
Damn it.
Right.
So you're only allowed 3 magical items, right?
Yep.
So I
3 that you have to attune to. Some you don't.
have 2 right now. So I would be able to use it. It would be like a backup until I find a 3rd set.
I love that the fucking Rod of Rulership is a backup magical item.
Well, no, I mean it would probably be like I don't know, depending on the situation. I can dual wield.
You actually could.
I could.
Yeah, I don't
I mean,
know
we both
about
could,
like
yeah.
a flame tongue is
Flame
a
tongues is very good.
offhand.
Hit with a flame tongue. Hit with the hammer.
Let me see.
Yeah, let's find out if that's
So a flame tongue, I think.
Unnamed.
Well, no, I mean obviously I already thought about that.
Well, I'm not giving a fucking melee weapon to a magic user.
That's kind of true though too.
Weapon, any sword.
It's like giving a Nerf gun to a military person. Like, good luck.
Does it
It's going to
say-
do nothing.
You both have legendary
it
fucking
doesn't.
melee
It
weapons.
doesn't say what kind of flame tongue it is,
He's a
right?
legendary man.
A fiery blade sprouts from the end opposite the rod's flanged head. Oh, that's interesting. So you press a button, the fire comes out the bottom.
Really?
It's a really good way to stab yourself in the chest. Haha, I'll
How many
kill you.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
God,
I wonder how many
my
people
lightsaber.
throughout history have done that. Grabbed it and be like,
Well, you have to attune to it first. I think
Yeah.
you know to flip it over. Yeah,
Gotcha.
it doesn't say. I think a flame tongue by default is a longsword, so you can't do flame tongue hammer. Battle axe. I don't think any of the things that it's not. None of the weapons are small enough to dual wield it. Yeah.
I think like we all kind of start saying like, well, I could use it. And it's just, I think the fact that we're all fighting over it means we have to give it up.
Yeah. Cool, though.
I'm sure we'll find more.
hit the ladder button.
I think
I hit the ladder button.
I think she would enjoy this robe.
Wasn't she wearing one, if I remember?
She'll need something to wear anyways.
Did you not hear what I said, Ramus?
What? Oh, sorry. I was daydreaming.
Yeah, right. And this is the thing is Ramus is holding it up,
Yeah.
and we just see the like vision of
Yeah.
and it's like a Looney Tunes cartoon of like unnamed like wearing the like robe of eyes, and for some reason it's like a bikini of eyes now. Like it's very small. And
Ramus is doing that like
mind.
repeated animation thing. Like,
It just got two big eyes right here that just blink.
Yeah, like I could get it tailored. Yeah, I mean that's a good point. Like if you're gonna try to bring her back, it'd be cool to have this item for her.
She was already wearing a
Cloak. She's a cloak
Cape.
of Cape of Shadows.
Oh,
yeah, so
oh,
she
this
could
is a
wear
robe.
Cape. This is a robe.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So this
So you
is
wear
armor.
it under a cape.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
If no one wants this immovable rod, I can think of many uses for it.
Sure.
Like you just put it up in the
Unrelated to the previous statement.
You just put it up in a door frame and try to be like, "Hey, Bert, get in here quick!" And Bert just runs in and clotheslines himself.
that's what goes in.
Somebody,
Like a dog trying to run in through a glass door.
somebody was talking about how it's like it's the immovable object, right? Where it's like if you, they were talking about an Eberron campaign where there was a train coming and they just put it in front of the
just put it
train
there.
and jumped off the tracks, and the train just runs through it and just blows the whole train apart
Oh, yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's this big and it's the whole force of the train.
Pretty
so,
useful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really good for blocking doors and like that kind of thing.
Yeah,
So
if you like want to like talk to somebody, you run in the room, put that in like the jam there.
Yeah.
Or even this, sneak in while they're asleep, put it right on top of them.
Yeah.
right? Like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They can't go
How
anywhere.
much can you bench?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So I start like putting stuff in piles. So I put like the bowl and the lordly rod in a pile,
Mm-hmm.
and I grab the plate and put that in a pile. Take the robe and put that in a pile. The rod, put that in a pile. The other rod, put that in a pile. And then was there anything else? That's it, right? Besides the potions?
It's a shit ton of money.
Right, and then the money's just in a pile itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's really no reason for Berg to have the rod if he's after a set with the hammer, the belt, and so he's gonna have to get rid of it anyways.
Well,
And
if
also,
anything,
if he
you
can't
should
dual,
take the
if he
armor.
can't- if he can't dual wield,
The armor
yeah.
benefits you the most.
Yeah, it just sucks taking even less AC, but it would
It's
be good
1
to not be
AC.
crit. Yeah, at
Like
all,
1
yeah.
AC is 1 AC.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you want to?
I already shrug off most hits that hit me anyway, so
Yes.
it's not a huge deal. So yes, I will take the armor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll unequip one of your.
I also need to grab the charger for this
two
game.
sets of half.
Oh, it's dead.
I can just go grab it right now.
I think there's.
Or
I think
one of them
there's
could.
one.
I don't know if we're going to be
Anyway,
doing
don't worry
any
about
If
other
we're not
fighting.
going to use it, I'm not worried about it then.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, I can always let you know. I have your
Yeah,
character
for sure.
sheet here
Yeah,
if you
that's
need
all.
something.
That the only point
Okay.
of reference that I'd need.
All
it
right,
for.
so let me get rid of one of these suits of armor, and I will drag you your new
Yeah, we'll give him the adamantium.
breastplate. So
Also nice too, not wearing void armor so much. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
though
helps.
it's like, I mean, it's dwarven armor, so people are gonna mistake you for
Oh, I'm gonna
somebody's
modify
bodyguard.
it. That's gonna be a thing because Berg was probably not gonna like the fact of wearing.
I just see him like taking like a short sword dagger and like scraping off the image and just writing his name with a backwards R, some like Berg on it.
I mean, I have proficiency with smith tools, so I can like.
Yeah,
Get
either
the-
you do it or maybe Berg might use some of the gold to pay someone to.
Yeah.
I do it for free. I don't know.
All right,
We shouldn't
that's
pay
cool.
anyone.
Well, recrafting like magic stuff does like
That's
we're
what I
not
was saying. I don't
recrafting
know.
it. We're just getting rid of the.
right, but it's still you have to modify it without like damaging it.
Okay.
Um,
It's just a paint job, though.
it's not
Ramus,
bad.
you got any stickers of the new campaign we're making?
Yeah, we'll just put a new. We'll put a sticker,
Big
decal.
Harmony
Let's get a
sticker.
wrap.
Got any
Let's
Harmony
wrap it up.
stickers? Yeah, just give it a little wrap.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guys,
Paper
we're-
mache on there. And a little.
Delivery's running late, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so where ignores critical hits. There you go. You are now clad in the unyielding steel of Deep King Zark.
You know what's funny though is that in that vision that we had, Berg's wearing different armor
Yeah.
and it has a symbol on it,
Yeah.
and he just found new armor.
True.
Okay, so you got that. Anybody else need items?
I mean, I think
given
we
to them.
like. I point to the bowl and the rod. Like, are we all comfortable with this?
Give those to Imix. You're keeping the 30 Gs for yourselves.
Probably some
I
to
mean,
the,
that's just a
the
big
embers
pile,
as well.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
We'd probably take some for foreseeable
We'll need
costs.
their
that we
help
need.
to haul this up to the surface for us.
I'm not
Too
sure
much.
how much use the
They don't seem to care for gold and stuff.
embers would have for this. However,
For the gold?
they fend for themselves pretty much.
Well,
They don't.
They still have to buy things. It's
We
not like
should-
they live off
we should
the land
still-
completely.
ask them if there's anything they need.
Well, this is great too because this is like there's a very clear cultural divide here
Yeah.
where like for you it's like what need these savages
Yeah,
for
it's
gold?
like these fucking
People of
cave
civilization,
dwelling
we need
peasants.
gold. Weird dirt grubbing cave nerds, they need not for gold. They eat tubers off the walls and moss and what have you.
He's not wrong.
Right? Like you're just like, oh come on, what do they need money for? They don't have banks.
Well, I mean, in all the days that I've spent here, like, have I seen
no.
much? Yeah.
Totally. You came from like a weird communist terrorist camp to the like fire worshipping hippie commune.
Well,
so,
and
yeah.
and I'll start like before you judge. The reason I bring this up is a noble one. If we were to move forward, and we meaning the Court of Coins, were to move forward with the process of freeing your brothers and sisters or your people, this would go a long way in easing the process with the dwarves.
Pay the dwarves.
They respond to money or violence.
I don't
And
care what we do with the money,
I
but
think they would take the money and keep things as they are.
a third of it goes to the embers. If anyone has a
not-
problem,
No. They need
of
money
course not.
for food.
that's all I ask.
Of course not. All I'm saying is, instead of making rules or laws to try to get them to do the right thing, we buy the slaves from them and free them ourselves.
If you're sure that would work, I don't know that you can be. Not with those dwarves.
Or we could build a big glorious temple and give them all slaves asylum who come to us.
And I just smile like this big shit-eating grin at you like, fucking, I know what you're fucking saying.
I mean, 20,000 gold buys a lot of bribes and like land titles, and like for Amos to lay legitimate claim to land, he needs to have essentially like a noble title, right? To be allowed to like own the land and stuff. So this money will go to good use one way or another, but it'll make best use back in the court named after it, right? Money talks, and your voice just got that much louder.
We'll be diplomatic.
I won't.
10,000 to the embers. Everyone else has 5,000. I don't care for money. Take the 5,000 and share it amongst the three of you. Is
Very well.
everyone good with that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't care much for money either.
Give
But
it to the slaves.
This money
They
can't
won't buy
buy
you
me
love.
Yeah, dude. That was good. That was good.
Berg don't care too much for money.
It
Yeah.
can't.
I don't understand the joke. Very well then.
It was a good joke.
10,000 that I will use, as I said. 5,000 to Ramus, 5,000 to Berg, and 10,000 to the Embers.
What about this other rod? It would be best in a spellcaster's hand, not a fighter's. I'd like to look towards Ramus, I guess, when I say that.
The immovable rod?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you don't use it to fight anyway,
Yeah.
so I don't even know if it needs to be attuned.
I don't think it does.
No,
Oh,
I
it
think it's just
doesn't?
like no, because it's not. You just have
It's
it.
just got one.
Does
just
one
got one
thing.
Yeah,
function?
it's not like so crazy
Rod,
where you need to
immovable
figure it out.
rod. Let me see. You don't have to attune to it. I don't think. Let me double check.
Make for a wicked game of Red Rover.
It does not. Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't require attunement. So
Okay.
anybody
Yeah,
can.
I'd toss
so
it
Ramus
towards
hang on
Ramus
to
then.
I'll find clever ways to use this.
If you have two of them, you have a ladder that will go forever.
That's
right?
true.
I was thinking that same
One,
thing,
you put
yeah.
the other one down.
Yep.
Just climb forever.
I can make it to heaven.
Yep.
Well,
I'm coming.
one of these rods is a ladder.
Well, so but this is the thing, right? Like you joke, but in Court of Swords, to get to heaven, you have to physically travel unless you can teleport there. And there are places where we had talked about this, like gates to heaven where they exist. But if you could, theoretically, if you could climb above the clouds, you could get to heaven that way. You could physically just climb all the way up and be like, there's heaven, and climb up underside into the sewers of heaven or whatever.
Yeah. I grab one of the potions of supreme healing and toss it to Berg. I'm taking one, giving the other to Berg. The other 10, we can split between us. Give to the embers. It's up to y'all.
I vote give them
Are
to
you
the
putting that
embers.
on
I was going to, but I can't drag and drop it anyway.
I agree. But only if Ramus agrees to help me out. I am feeling very hurt right now. I'm in a lot of pain.
Yeah, it's like you're like very badly burned and hurt.
very
And we've just found a first aid kit, and Ramus is like, this is gonna help so many people, and you're like,
One of them is right here.
can I have some? Yeah.
You can have them.
So so I guess to get any of these piles of treasure back.
Yeah, well, we
you
look
wanna
around.
go
Well,
back up.
I'll pocket 2 of them.
Okay.
Okay, then we give the others 8 to the
Yeah.
embers, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think once it's all divvied up, it's like, are we good?
Yes.
We have the gift. We have the vessel.
I would like to get up there and let them know everything is okay. I'm sure they felt all of that.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I would
good
also
point. Shit's
like
all
to
rumbling.
retire to lighter places. This is getting very dark.
Okay. So you're gonna head back up.
Yeah.
All right. So there's no need to roll survival on the way back. You found a safe route down here.
Looking
you
up.
avoided,
Always looking.
You avoided the threats that might have been here. There are still like creatures and things like lurking in this level,
Yeah.
but now that the main impediment, if you leave, given enough time, Awut and his warriors will come down here and they'll clear out the rest of this level. There are further levels below, but for now, the vault and the forge are very, very significant.
Couple levels down
And
below,
on-
there's like other ones like, when
And
they
on
get
our
here.
on our way up, I would just say out loud to the group, before anyone tells the embers what their share is, I think we can all agree that we should ask them first permission to take what spoils is there, because we are in their house after all.
I'll have the conversation with Awut. It'll be fine.
I mean, you've done mercenary work all your life, right? So that like who has salvage rights?
Oh,
like,
I've done this exactly.
looting and
salvage
robbing.
thing
You've been
completely.
here before. Yeah.
That's why I
Okay.
was the first one to speak up. Is like to
Yeah.
divvy everything up.
Speaking of conversation,
goes.
Maharib, how did yours go with Mr. Yang? Very well, I see, but how were the particulars?
The deal is done.
Did it take much cajoling or negotiation?
He wanted the book. I gave him the book. Are you fishing for something?
Always.
Then ask directly.
I just wanted to know how it went. How did he regard you? Did he regard you as an equal, or did he regard you as we saw him regard our friend Berg?
I don't know, to be honest. He's a hard man to read. He did said we would have future dealings, so perhaps that's a good sign.
What did you say about me to him?
I offered you up as part of a deal. He said that he could claim you dead and you would have freedom, but that was not part of the deal today. Perhaps in the future.
I got the feeling that you didn't like me very much, and yet you were willing to do me that favor. Wonder why that is.
I think you just get silence.
Because he's a
response.
big softy.
Then you put the crown on his head.
Yeah, you just get silence. in
He's the
response.
king of kindness. And then, yeah, if I get silence, then I just like closed mouth grin at you. And then keep
Okay.
walking, yeah.
All right. So you return to the sealed passageway, right, where the embers had placed their mark to block passage, keep people above safe, and keep people from wandering down here, and vice versa. You return and you give the pre-aforementioned the knock. Good. It's the entire drum line from Funky Drummer.
Yeah.
Good. So you play the hallowed break beat upon the inside of the thing, and there's a moment, and then you hear the sound of the seal being rolled aside, and outside you see a couple of the young warriors of the embers, and they look distraught. They look worried. And when they see you, I don't know who they would just say it to all of you. One of them is like, you have to come quickly to the sanctum. Something's wrong with Vani.
Something just totally fucking hit me right now. They told us it is against our laws or whatever to put out fires, and we just put out the fucking mountain's fire.
Well, you put out the forge's fire, yes.
Yeah.
But we don't know what the deeper veins of the mountain. But that's a good point.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're like, something's wrong with Vani. You have to come. You have to do something. Help.
I run to my room and grab my herbalist tools.
Okay.
Bring
So
them.
you make a little sidetrack to your
Yep.
room. The rest of you just go to her. her
Bird goes
there,
immediately
yeah.
there, yeah.
All right. So when you get there, you find Awut and Vani. Vani is lying on her little mat on the floor, and she has two other warriors next to her, holding her down because she's twitching and seizing. And Awut looks up when he sees you, and he comes over to you, Maharib, and he clasps your arms, and he says, "Thank the Fire Lord, you made it back, and no one died. Where is your frail-looking friend?"
He's getting his herbalism kit or something. What happened to her? What's going on?
We don't know. Some hours ago, she collapsed. And now this. I don't know. And he looks at you like Ramus, you're a priest. Do something. Fix her.
I walk up to her and try to do a medicine check first, see
Okay.
what's going on.
Yeah, make a medicine check.
25.
Nice. Okay. So you come over and you kneel down to get a look at her, and she snaps one arm free from one of the guys that's holding her, and she reaches up, and before you get a chance to move or anything, she puts her hand on your face, and her hand lines up perfectly with the burn mark, and you feel a sudden shock, not enough to harm you, but it starts you a little bit. And she contorts slightly and then kind of goes limp. And her eyes open, and she blinks a couple of times. You come into the room, and you're watching through this, and she blinks a couple of times. And Awud is standing next to you, terrified that his sister is going to die. And she looks at you, and with a voice not her own, that this layer, you can hear Vani's voice quietly under this other sort of crackling female voice. You hear, "Hey, Ramus, and Maharib and Bergen. That guy! Why does her head hurt so much? Did she fall down? This happens sometimes. Give me up." And she reaches up to you, help me.
I help her up.
And Aoud is just staring, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, I
And-
whispered, I would get everyone else out of here.
He does. He nods. He's of course, and he takes his other guys out. And so she gets up, just I always forget about the skull. You think it's going to be hard, but it's not. It's like paper. Why don't we make skeletons out of metal? Oh, you guys are looking good. Who's your friend?
My name is 10 Pillars of Gold.
That's your name? Did your parents call you that?
Burke's kind of suppressing a laugh.
No, my parents called me much more colorful names than that.
Well, like Pilly? Little Pillars? Goldie?
More like a disapproving,
Ten?
a disapproving parent.
She's like, oh boy, do I know about that. Whoo-wee.
I've introduced myself, and now, traditionally, it's the other person's turn.
And she's like, oh, yeah, My name's Vani. I'm the sexy shaman of the Embers of Imix. Everybody likes me. I'm so smart and cool.
Agni.
And she looks and she's like, damn it, I had him going. I was going to pretend all like I thought he was cute. And then I was going to be like, haha, gotcha. It's me, a primordial. Anyway.
Agni, as in...
And she
Yes.
nods. That's the one.
It is an honor, then.
Yeah, you only think that now. So something happened in the mountain. You broke something. But it was the good kind of breaking. The kind the dwarves don't like. What happened? I felt it.
Who would have the bowl? I guess I picked it up or something.
I think Zeke has it right now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then you have the bowl and the rod, yeah.
Well, the forge that lies below the domicile of the Embers, was inhabited by a construct, and in order to put it to rest, these two destroyed it. And upon destroying it, the mountain threatened to crumble upon itself, and I found the room that controlled the lava flow and pressure, and turned it off.
She leans in and she says, where did you gain this expertise in dwarven knob twiddling?
Well, a little bit of my own research, but a lot of it from stone tablets and the like that the Embers
So-
have collected.
Do you spend a lot of time thinking about twiddling dwarven knobs?
Totally not getting it. He goes,
Kind of like Raymond starts
I
to
think-
giggle
yeah,
and she
I
like
think-
leans in like this.
I think
is serious.
Berg also he was like,
What?
because this is a wisdom, that getting a joke is a wisdom thing.
Uh-huh.
So he's intelligent, so he's like taking it pretty literally, like,
Yeah.
I only just started thinking about twiddling dwarven knobs.
I don't know.
I think even louder you go, Agni!
Come on. I spend most of my
I look
time
at Ramus like,
I spend most of my time thinking about burning things, things being on fire and things melting and fire stuff, and I don't get to make fun of humans very
Did
often.
Vani summon you? Is that what has happened here?
No. Technically, I'm not supposed to be here because you have to be summoned first. And mediums, all this. There's rules, but I don't know. It seemed like things were going bad, and maybe everybody needed my help. But it looks like you have it all under control.
Will Vani be okay?
Yeah, I don't think her skull is broken. Just like pokes it. Doesn't feel broken.
Good.
well, you've come at a very good time then. Because now is the time.
Can he hear himself? Does he hear what he says? And she turns back and she's like, honey, anytime I come is a good time. And she starts laughing again. And she's like, I'm sorry. This is very serious. You have a quest or
fucking
whatever.
Agni.
Please do go on.
Ramus, would you like to continue? I don't feel like I'm
don't-
making any headway.
Don't pout. And she turns back to you and she says, Vani told me about your problem. The tiefling.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting case. I haven't performed an ignition in forever. And Bahath, too. Strong one. He's been a sword a long time. But you have the materials?
We have the final piece now.
And she looks around and she's like, I see all of this. Where is the vessel for Bahath? And so you take off the goblet. She looks at it and she's like, ugh, gross. It's perfect. Good. Okay. And we need a vector for the challenge to take place. Where? What is it?
It's me.
Okay. So I don't know if Vani.
Will that work?
Oh yeah. I mean, I could use just about anything, but it has to resonate. It has to be important to both things. So, and he looks and he's like, "You like her?"
Shut up, all right?
It's like, it's good though. I mean, our connection helps, and if you have a connection with her, then I mean, your mortal soul is at risk. But I mean, you'll just get another one if things go bad. So that's fine.
Not the first time.
Yeah. And then there's the issue of my father. Bahath is technically his property, and so if I know him, and I do, he'll want Bahath freed, the sword melted down, the dragon reborn, all that. If you are doing a lateral move, it's not as blasphemous as capturing the soul, but you're buying stolen property. So if we bribe him hard enough, he might not notice. You have something like that?
I motion towards 10 pillars.
We have 2 things.
So before you say anything, you motion, and she's like, "Ooh, human sacrifice! All right, take off your clothes."
No, unfortunately, we have a
No,
better
let's
gift
see where
than
this
that.
goes.
You're like, yes, you should do that. So she looks at you like,
We have a better gift than that. 2, actually.
two
have-
human sacrifices?
No.
That would be better.
We have the forge, the pit of lava, the entire heart of the mountain that we offer, and we also offer the symbol of the rulership that used to be there, the rod, the
Okay.
scepter of the queen.
So you want to like take it and show it to her, and she looks at it and folds her arms. She's like, "Those dwarves, too clever by half. Look at how complicated this thing is with all the buttons. You want an axe? Make an axe. You want a sword? Make a sword. But it's a good symbol. If he wasn't asleep, this would make what's his name real mad. Crunk, Chunk, Krang. What was that guy? The big lizard. That one." She points at your breastplate.
Oh.
It's like, but that's all right.
Zark.
That's the one. He's asleep. So what he doesn't know isn't gonna hurt him. Big stupid lizard.
One thing.
I love watching Burke think.
She's good with metal.
Another time, Berg.
Oh,
Let's do that after.
she's the best.
You could ask her after she has enough energy left.
No.
I love it when they talk about me like I'm not here.
He
What,
wants
you want me to fuse that to your skeleton? Replace your rib cage?
He just wants the.
Make you like a giant beetle? I could do that.
No.
You
You
should
want a
do that.
shell?
Make
I
him
think
a
it was
giant
more like a
beetle.
Wolverine.
Little antennas.
No. What?
Wolverines
Why?
don't have metal bones. They should though.
Why would
should have
anyone
big
want
claws,
that?
too.
I don't.
It's like she shrugs. She's like, "It's all right. Let's bring Ramus's girlfriend back to life, and then we'll talk about this." No, you have to understand the complexity of the ignition ritual. It is not meant to create souls, and like the way that you all work now, theoretically, is you have two. This is all elementary school stuff. You know this already, but you have 2 souls. You get the fancy one and the not fancy one that makes ghosts. And when you die, you keep the fancy one. The ghost one gets blown away, and you get reincarnated. And that's how it works, because that's what heaven says. But moving Bahath from the sword to the body, it might not have the exact outcome that you expect. We might just be embodying Bahath in your friend's body. And you know what? If that's okay, if all you're attracted to is her outer bits, then now your girlfriend's a cool dragon on the inside. And that's fine. But there's going to be some conflict there first. And I don't know how these void bodies work. If her flesh remembers her, if she contains memory enough to be in charge, then she'll go back to some semblance of normal. It's all kind of uncharted territory, which is why I'm so excited about it. But I can't promise you any given outcome.
I'm willing to take the risk.
Okay. Well, I have some preparations I need to do, and well, you can have your shaman back. And Vani, kind of her eyes roll back in her head, and she's like tips forward,
Yeah,
like
Bird-
she's gonna fall on her
Bird-
face, and
yeah,
you like
Bird grabs
catch her.
Yeah.
And she blinks hard, and she like looks up at you, like, "Oh, what happened? Why does my head hurt?"
You're okay.
Yeah, and so you kind of help her sit down.
Was Acne? She came. Was curious. What was happening?
She nods. Oh, okay. Some of it's coming back to me.
We went down there. Everything's good.
I'm glad you're all alive. I wasn't sure you were going to survive. Did you see that horrible thing down there?
What, the big metal thing? Oh, yeah, fine.
She she smiles and nods, and she's like, "And the gems that I gave you, they helped?"
Yes,
Yes.
a lot, actually.
Thank you for that.
I don't know that it would have gone that way if we didn't have it.
Good. Good. There are ways to apply these things more permanently, and she looks at Ramus, but they're well beyond my abilities, so I'm glad I could help, even just a little. So, what now? You found the objects that you need.
Yes.
Agnes said she needed time, and then left.
That makes sense. I'm going to need some as well to prepare the space. Make the offering to Emix. A few days, maybe.
Is there any way, Ramus, to make sure that no one is watching this room?
Yes. And I cast detect magic to see if there's any scrying magic in the room with us right now.
There is not. There's a lot of magic. There's like some resilient, some like remaining conjuration magic kind of floating around in the air. You have a sense that you sometimes get. It's like being in a graveyard at midnight or whatever. Like you feel that kind of like eerie. The barrier between the worlds is kind of thin, but it's like regenerating, and that's just Agnes passing, right? Her coming and going.
As far as like attuning to magic items go, like if I were to like, because my idea is that I or somebody else uses the robe of eyes to stand outside, and even if we're sleeping, the robe of eyes will keep working.
Yeah, but I mean you're asleep, so like you won't. It's like their eyes. They're your eyes.
Right, but they still see no matter what, right?
In the same way that if you fall asleep with your eyes open, your eyes are still seeing.
Okay. But anyways, like the
But
robe
it
of
is,
eyes.
yeah, massively useful for like keeping it. And you see invisible stuff, so you would see the scrying orb.
Exactly.
Right, if it suddenly showed up.
Exactly. So I'm wondering if I would know, like, is it like, can you pass a magic item, just like give it to somebody and have them attune to it instead
Yeah,
of
it
you?
takes an hour to
Okay, that's it. Okay.
attune it.
Okay.
You don't have to like de-attune. If somebody steals your magic robe, they just put it on and attune.
Yeah. If you're worried about that. I
I'm
think
not
this
wearing
robe.
a robe.
I'm not saying you would. I'm saying I would. I'd volunteer to wear it and stand watch outside the door for the ritual.
Should stand inside. That's what I'm worried about.
Or inside. Whatever you choose.
That would be great.
All right. I take the robe then. And, whenever I have a minute, I'll attune to it.
Okay. Sure.
It's not a minute, it's an hour.
So you
Take a
have
fucking hour then, you fucking nerd.
so you have 3 days.
Yeah.
Vani will come back to you in 3 days and be like, "We're ready. Let's do the thing." So, what do people want to do in the 3 days? If anybody has like a goal they would like to pursue a little bit, or
I'd like to talk to we don't have to role play it out, but like talk to the Embers and maybe see if they want how much gold they want from
I go and talk
from
to
the stack.
them
Yeah.
as soon as we finish there.
yeah, Aut would be the guy to talk to about like, "Hey, so we have a shit ton of gold for you."
Yeah,
Okay.
as soon as that is done, I go open the door and say, "Your sister is fine. You can talk to her." We found countless objects down below. The embers are owed, I believe, a third of it. There's gold down there waiting. I believe it counts in the 10,000.
And he like, he's nodding and smiling while you say this, and he says, and it's like the look isn't like, "Oh my God, thank you so much." It's like you are reminding him of why he like trusted you in the first place. Like this is just another like, it's like, yes, this is the Maharib I know. Like this is the kind of good thing that you do, and so he.
Because he's the one who gave him the gold, right?
Yeah.
Not all of us, just
Yeah.
him.
Well, because I would like Maharib the best.
I know. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
So when you like say that to him, he nods and he says, "The embers will not forget this. This is a deed that means more to us than you know." So he says, I'll assign you warriors to go and help you bring this stuff up and like anything you need help with.
That's probably what I do over the next 3 days.
Yeah.
I think it's also too. It's like dawning on the fact that as soon as this happens, Amira's like gone.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing everything
trying to
possible
keep busy.
keep my mind
and,
off of it.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Because like this is your one shot, and then
Yeah.
once this is done, then there's nowhere else for it to go. Yeah.
So that's what I do over the 3 days is like help the embers bring up
Okay.
all the treasure.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I take
Okay.
Ramus aside. So, if everything goes according to plan, we made a deal with Gravedirt.
Mm-hmm.
I'd imagine that you probably don't plan on honoring that deal because of the implications and because of what Maharib might think of it. He would take the greatest offense to this if we gave Gravedirt the secrets. And I'm fine with welching on that deal, but now you not only bring down the wrath upon this group, but you'll blame the embers as well. Just wondering what you think we should do from here.
Yeah, that's a good point because Gravedirt is, her well enough from the dossier and from like being around her a little bit. She is very powerful, but also super petty. And if you don't give her what she wants, she's going to be super pissed at you. But also, like, if she can't get to you, she'll go after
Anybody
your
who
friends.
helped you, your mama, your pets, like all that
Exactly.
shit. Yeah.
She'll be like, I couldn't find you, so I killed everyone you've ever met.
Yeah.
Here they are. I've made them into zombies.
Yeah. I put their heads on a Christmas tree.
Yeah. So, anyway, Ramus.
Christmas tree, sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't want to give. I think it's not up to me anymore. It would be up to her. Unnamed should decide what we do. We're talking about her life, and we can't just use her as a bargaining chip. Would you want to be used as a bargaining chip? But I don't believe that Gravedirt will honor the deal as wholly as we would hope. She'll want to keep her and study her and enslave her. I think we should try to trick her into thinking that we're tricking her, that it worked. Like, we'll pretend that I can make her appear dead. And then we bring her and we try to act like she's alive, so she thinks we're fooling her, trying to fool her. And then play against her mind.
And it's like we're watching Ramus lose the thread of his plan as he tries to explain it. And then we switch the bags so that she's got the one with the
the thing is,
Maltese Falcon in it. And
I,
then take the
I
other-
read a script called Weekend at Bernie's. It was fantastic.
Well, the thing is, like, I understand what Ramus is trying to say. The first subterfuge is for her to actually see through.
Mm-hmm.
The second lie is what we want to really
Plans within
hide.
plans,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
They're like many machines on X.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I smoke my pipe and I nod at you like I understand.
I'd have to smoke a pipe.
She thinks we're stupid.
This is
and
a pipe
she, and
smoking
she
This is a pipe
knows
smoking
she
conversation.
thinks we're
yeah.
stupid, and she knows that she's very intelligent. She'll take great pleasure in scolding us or trying to fool her.
I don't know. It's risky, Ramus Krill.
it is a good angle because you could theorize that she would get pleasure out of like knowing you failed, even if she's annoyed. Even if she was like, "Oh, I wanted this to work," she would be like, "Ha ha ha, you idiots!
Yeah.
Only I have mastery over life and death."
Yeah.
Yeah. Your stupid fire friends can't help you now.
Yeah. But it's tricky. I don't know what to do exactly. We can't fight her yet. We're not powerful enough for that. We
Court
can't.
of Coins is having problems.
I know. We have to gather allies within the temple, around it. What we really need to do
What if?
is convince the embers to move. They're
What
not
if-
safe here.
Let me pose something to you. Let me smoke my pipe first.
That's fine.
Let me just smoke thoughtfully.
Yeah. No. My idea is this, and tell me if. Please feel free to jump in at any time. But if we were to cast a powerful spell on someone we knew and trusted, made them look like this unnamed, she would see through that. But we want her to. And then we'd have to admit that we failed.
That's not unnamed. That's just Maharib in a
It-
dress.
Hello.
If
Are those? Did you glue horns on him?
If only we had a powerful sorceress skilled in magic that disguises and hides things.
Are you saying that?
The one we're resurrecting is very powerful in illusionary and shadow magic. She could disguise someone for us. And we could try to pretend to fool her.
So let's play this out. We use a magical disguise, a powerful magic, a magic we think that she might not see through.
Anyone except her would not know.
We plan on her. If she doesn't see through it, all the better. But if she does, how will she react if we tell her we failed after she finds out our ruse?
I think at this point, Berg comes in, grabbing he has like a bowl of noodles, and he hears you guys talking. He's just like trying to track what you guys are saying.
like kind of like standing next to us and going, nodding. Yes. Yes.
Good point.
You can tell he's confused, but he's just like,
Yeah. I think she likes toying with us, and she'll get great pleasure out of scolding us and telling us how pitiful we are trying to fool someone as mighty as her. She's very prideful.
I think in order for believability, I think we must ask for something more. Because she already upheld her bargain. Her end of the bargain was letting us go.
Mm-hmm.
So in order for us to come back, I think we withhold the disguised person, tell her that we have her, she is raised, but in order for you to see and be told the tale, you must give us land, the land you want. She'll demand to see the thing.
Mm.
We'll show it. If it fools her, all the better. If it doesn't, she laughs at us and perhaps tries to kill us.
The only danger of building your temple in the Court of Swords, especially in this area, is that Dragon Rider lady will be like, "Get out of here! Like, this is not for you."
Yeah.
But that's the thing, like, we don't even care about that.
Yeah.
We just
Yeah.
care about the trick being, like, believed.
We could try to up the ante, act like we want more, since we're not feeling like we're getting a good end of the deal here.
Well, now we hold all the cards. We hold something she desperately wants.
I just worry about when the army finally marches, the great army she's building eventually, that she won't honor the deal anymore at that point. And just swarm our temple. But our temple could be a last stand.
Hold on, I'm sorry. Honor what deal? What are we talking about?
The temple.
That's just like a fucking
ruse.
ruse. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
just like we don't care about getting that.
Okay.
We can if she yeah.
I know.
If
We got so many fake plans going.
Right, this
she-
is like a car full of hamburgers level of like chaotic.
if she buys the ruse, she takes what we give her at face value, meaning she thinks that we actually resurrected this person because the magic is good enough. We'll deal with that afterwards. But the matter at hand is if she believes it at all. Can you call your dragon friend?
What for?
I could go myself. Tell her what we've done. make the arrangements.
I say we do it after the ritual first.
Oh, yes, of course. Because we need that to work first.
Well, I say we pick this up after the ritual just to make sure that we have someone. This may all fail, none of this will matter.
Agreed.
Right.
I forgot you were there.
Yes.
I agree.
Okay. Yeah. So, what you guys have this conversation? You're like, all right, we're gonna revisit this plans within plans, enigmas within enigmas, like situation after we find out what happens. Is there anything that you want to do during the 3 days preparation time? Berg, let's start with you because I want to see what you want to get up to.
Berg would try to further understand the belt if he could, which I think we talked about.
Yeah.
He had some knowledge. 10 Pillars had some knowledge of the Emperor Fey, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like,
So you want to go and ask?
yeah.
Okay. All right. So where are you when Berg finds you to come and ask you these things?
I think I'm like on the last chapter of my smutty novel.
You're getting a good part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I come in, set the book down in my crotch.
So you find your friend 10 Pillars in repose when you arrive.
Oh, should I come back? Or
No, please. Come in, Berg.
is it good? What you?
It's very good. Do you read Celestial?
Yes, not often, and not that. I don't read much.
Are you reading it in the original Celestial?
Yeah. It's
That's
not
good. Celestial has a lot more words for dirty sex acts than Common does.
Yeah. You don't have to be very good at it. It gets right to the point. Anyway, how can I help you, Berg?
You spoke before when you saw the hammer and the belt.
Yes.
Faye. I know some about him and learning more about these. I want to know more about this,
Points to the belt.
if you know. I doubt the Embers know much about it.
I know stories. It's a legendary item, so it's been spoken of in many different tales, but you can only trust them about half of the time anyway. If you would like to hear those stories, I can tell you them.
Well, any help, information?
You want to make a history roll?
Yes, I would.
All right.
Excellent.
Now, do you want to know about Emperor Fey? Do you want to know about the regalia as a thing? Do you want to know about just the Pillars of the Gate?
Well, that's what I would add. My next question would be, do you want to know about the belt, or do you want to know about the last piece that you're missing?
Well, given that my goal is about the belt,
I have a goal to learn.
Oh,
about the belt.
What is your goal?
It is
It-
about the belt. I think the wording is specifically
It is
learn
the
more.
belt, yeah.
Learn more about the belt. So. it
Oh,
would-
okay, okay.
Berg would respond.
Perfect.
the belt. Just want to learn more about it. I just got it recently.
It's columns, or what's the actual name of
The
it?
Pillars of the Gate.
The pillars, yeah.
Yeah.
Pillars of the Gate. Well, I'll tell you a story
Yeah, if
about
they write it, if you write the name, if you write your name and you write the name of the object, the character is the same, and that's like auspicious for you to share a character with like the regalia.
You see like a beat as you say that, and Berg laughs to himself like,
Pillows. Talking about pillows.
Very astute, my friend.
No, you're
roll,
astute.
and I get let's say 24.
Okay, so the Pillars of the Gate, the story of that comes from the sort of middle period when, so Emperor Fey's got tons and tons, dozens and dozens of stories about him. He's a historical figure. He's a bit like a Robin Hood or a Paul Bunyan or whatever. Like he's like a legend, and in part of the Court of Coins is like early history. But the part of the gate, the Pillars of the Gate, is from the center of his myth cycle. And it was during a time where the Emperor had seized the city from the like warlord bandits that owned it, right? He had made himself emperor of the Court of Coins, the nascent Court of Coins, but it was not like it was during like a dark time, right? So Emperor Faye's main adversary, it's always the Mara, and sometimes it's like demons in general, sometimes it's corrupt gods or whatever, but the story is like there's Emperor Faye and there's the demons, and it's generally assumed to be that the historical record was referring to the Mara. So the Pillars of the Gate come from the middle of the cycle where the city was under attack by the forces of, it's usually translated as like the Worm King or like the Dark One. And so these forces are like attacking the city, and they had to abandon the city for a time. This was before the apology. So they had to abandon the city for a time. And Emperor Faye personally held the gates of the city shut against demonic onslaught while the people of the city fled through a secret exit. And he held it for 16 days and 16 nights, suffering like poisoning and burning. And each night is a different story of like a horrible thing that happened to him while he defended the city. And he persevered and held back the tide of demons.
I bet the chat is just erupting with Hodor.
Yeah, right.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So it is technically it's a girdle, not a mere belt.
Right. It's a belt.
but
Girdle doesn't sound as cool.
It contains his mighty strength. It's kind of like a Samson story, right? It's like the belt is the belt he wore while he did this heroic mighty act, and it was imbued as with the other objects. Like Emperor Faye, these weren't magic items when Faye had them. It's not
Right,
like
they were just items.
It's not like he was like, I got this girdle of giant strength. I'm going to use it to hold up the gate. It was like,
Right.
I'm super awesome and strong, and the girdle became enchanted merely by his bravery and perseverance, right?
So basically, the girdle got enchanted by his junk sweat. Is what you're
Pretty
saying.
much, yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's his mighty girdle. And now you wear it with pride.
That explains the smell.
Yeah, it's tens of thousands of years old. Just sweat. So that's the Pillars of the Gate. That's the story behind it, and it is one of the three objects of the regalia. Obviously, the Apology of Emperor Faye, which has its own story, which is like laid out on the thing, but it's gone now. It's the Hammer of Heaven, so you can't see it. But the Pillars of the Gate, and at least the name of the third item. Though all of these are meant to be so legendary as to might as well not exist, right? Like it's like. Did they exist and we lost them? Like you didn't believe they were real. You were like, it's a metaphor, right? Like anyone can wear the Pillars of the Gate and be as strong as Emperor Faye.
Yeah.
But now you're face to face with like the literal actuality of the thing. So the three items are the Apology of Emperor Faye, representing Faye's unwillingness to back down and his crusade against the demons. The Pillars of the Gate, which represent his stolidness and his unwaveringness in the face of evil. And the third is it's described alternately as an eye, and sometimes that's like literal. Sometimes it's like an actual eyeball that he had to put in after he lost his own. Sometimes it's like a third eye, like on a circlet. It's depicted in a bunch of different ways, and it's called the Vault of Heaven's Wisdom. And that is maybe the most. That one represents his ascension into heaven as a divine saint, right? It's a gift given to him as he became a bodhisattva. But when you saw him, he wasn't wearing no diadem, and he had both his eyes. So he obviously doesn't have it anymore.
It's got to be somewhere.
So that's the story that you impart with much more like embellishment. And like, these are stories any child could tell, but you can tell them well. So you know the details. And I guess rather than like having you tell a story, I'm curious, like, what is it like when 10 Pillars tells a story? We know what Kalimat's stories were like. We know what, Yotazo's stories were like, but are you the kind of person that stops to give historical digressions? Are you like, this part of the story is kind of like in debate, and some scholars think this and some think others? Like, what do we learn about you from the telling?
I think since he has excuse me, since insight is something he is really well versed in, and he's good at determining like his audience and how they feel and that kind of stuff, he kind of tailors his story to who he's telling. Yeah. So if he's telling a story to Berg, action and battle and honor and that kind of stuff is very important, and he stresses those words. Right. And lots of
you don't go into like minutia about translations.
Yeah, no, not at all.
You're not like
not at all.
Keikaku means plan. So okay.
Stories of heroism and that kind of thing. And if I have him like like his rapt attention by the end of the story, like when I say the last words of the story.
Yeah.
And that's the story of Emperor Faye. And I was wondering, Berg, now that we have some time,
Yes.
would you be willing to go back into the depths and see if there's any stories from below? Perhaps a lead, perhaps a direction we could go.
What?
Down below, where we were, the dwarves lived.
What about it?
Emperor Faye is a dwarf, right?
No.
Oh, shit. Who am I thinking of then?
I don't know.
Fuck.
Emperor Faye's a human.
The
Yeah.
Dwarf King? No, I don't know. That's what was confusing.
All
Both
like
Berg and me
seriously,
were confused.
since I heard his
Yeah.
name, I've always thought of him as a dwarf.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Never mind
he's
then.
a human.
Never mind then.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
Didn't say
that's
it.
totally
I
okay.
did not say any of that because I honestly
Well, you had no reason to question it
like-
because you're like, of course he is.
yeah, for like 50 episodes, I was like, he's a dwarf.
No,
Like,
he's a human. I envision Emperor Faye as like the cover art of every one of those like Romance of the Three Kingdoms video
dude.
games where he's like the Chinese warlord, right, with the armor and the halberd and like the big beard and the crown and
Huge
shit.
chest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
huge chest. Yeah, riding on a horse that's like 8 feet wide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then, have I heard the term the Hammer of Heaven or anything like that while we've been together?
No, it is a new term given to both Berg and the hammer itself.
Okay. Do you think Berg would have said anything about going to heaven or, that kind of stuff?
Well, it's funny you should say that because as soon as you take a pause,
Okay.
Berg goes,
You know, it's funny hearing these stories about Emperor Faye. I met the man.
I'm sorry.
Berg is either drunk or so stupid he thinks he met Emperor Faye.
You're saying, Berg, that you met Emperor Faye in heaven?
I know how that sounds. But you've seen how I fight.
You make a compelling argument
Yeah.
with your hands.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Son of God. Yeah, I met him.
Yeah.
He's fine.
But then he shows like the wounds and like they
Yeah.
emanate like they piss gold or like whatever.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. You're like, yeah, I met Jesus. You're like, bullshit. And you're like, yeah, but like magic crown of thorns, shroud
Yeah.
of Turin, like,
Yeah.
I'm just carrying his shit around for him.
Consistently bleeding wound from
Yeah.
the side,
So it's like, it's believable.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have believed it if Berg had just said it, but
Right.
Berg is wearing your eyes have evidence for you, yeah.
When I went there, I only had the hammer. I did not know there were other items. He did not speak of them. So, weird. And
Did he give you any sort of indication as to where they might be? He didn't tell you anything about the other items.
I don't think he did, right? No. Because he's in heaven. He doesn't give a shit.
He doesn't give a shit. He has ascended beyond the concerns of earthly objects, right?
It's like an older brother finding out their younger brother is like wearing some ring that they
Yeah.
forgot about.
Like,
like,
if
oh, you have the thing.
if you brought Emperor Faye the regalia and you were like, glorious Emperor, I have brought you the regalia you wore in life, he would just be like, let it blow away like dust, and it was he'd be
Yeah,
like,
he doesn't care.
yeah, because he's ascended, he's enlightened.
Yeah, so that's Berg thinks about it. He's like,
he was, well, he's in heaven. Why does he care about any of this?
He's essentially won the game.
Well, and that's the last great sacrifice, right? Because Emperor Faye becoming a bodhisattva is actually forestalling his own enlightenment, right? He's one step away from rejoining the fountain and becoming one with the universe, but has chosen not to take that step so that he can remain and like guide people's destiny, right?
Okay.
Like, so it's a great, great sacrifice for him to stay in the world and to suffer the world's indignities.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But yeah, he could. So he's chosen to stay behind, which in all the more like reason to deify him, right?
Right. Well, if you've been to heaven and you've met the Emperor and he offered you no advice, I really wish I could help you more. I would think that would be the place to go. That's what I would suggest if you can somehow blaspheme. I mean, not for you, of course. To contact heaven. Pardon me.
Heaven's not so like that. I was on the streets of heaven, a fumbling idiot. Recently,
That did happen. Yeah.
they didn't care. No one in heaven cares. That's why I go with Ramus. You know, they call me their hammer of heaven. But heaven has no nails.
They. Who's they? Oh, the heavenly. What does that mean to you, Berg? To be the hammer of heaven?
Not much.
Then you have as much disregard for your title as Faye has for what was once his. Do you feel the call of destiny?
I know I have to move forward. Where that path is going, no idea.
Then,
I just hope it's a good one.
if I may say, not only being your companion for these days, but from what I've seen of you, I don't think I could have picked any better myself.
We shall see. Thank you for the stories.
Pass them on.
Cool. All right. So we fade out on that. So I guess the only other person to check in with is Ramus. So for you, Ramus, one thing that is of significance during that time is that Vani and a couple of her kind of like assistants come to your room to retrieve Unnamed's body. But otherwise, people just mostly leave you alone. Let you do your thing. Is there anything you want to do?
I think I would be talking to people that want to listen about Harmony.
Yeah.
and
Okay. Yeah, let's have you make a proselytizing roll here. It's nice. Vani is like, I, the spiritual pillar of this community, am going to be too busy to interrupt you undermining the spiritual pillars of this community, trying to bring your dead girlfriend back to life. And you're like, while you're busy, I'm going to convert a bunch of your friends. Yeah, so let's have you make a roll. What have we been using for this? It was like religion with charisma, I think, has been the
I think so.
roll. Let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah, so make a religion roll with charisma. Ooh.
So
Nice.
a 18.
How is your storytelling and your like converting? How is it different when you're talking to worshippers of the Fire Lord instead of like displaced farmers who are already not all that excited about heaven?
My pitch is that Imix's word is just as important as the others, and his word needs to be spread, that they need to come out of the shadows and be equal with everyone else.
So it's not like give up Imix and worship Harmony. It's that in the new order, Imix will have a place at the table with all the other
Yes.
powers. Interesting. Okay. Nice. I mean, that works. They like being told that their god isn't just like a pointless waste of time and energy, because that's all they ever get most of the time. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Nice. So that goes pretty well. And you attract like a little audience every time you want to tell like a parable about it, and you notice like people start recognizing you more in the hall, and there's like nodding and waving and like so yes, it works. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so you spend your time doing that. So we I think then the end of the 3 days comes, and Vani sends attendants to come and get you, bearing only the message that it is time. Everyone has had a chance to long rest. You'll have your abilities and your whatever back, because it's been several days, all your hit points. And and so you're called not to Vani's like ritual space, not to her little cave where she does her healing from, but to another place, somewhere on the same level where you were, where there were like the hot springs and stuff, but it's off down like another tunnel. And when you go, when you arrive at the ritual, you come to a cave, and there is in the center of the cave, there's a rock outcropping to a sort of platform with a flat top, and then there's around it like cavernous sort of emptiness. There's like a drop off, and there's lava kind of flowing through the walls and then dripping off in like big, thick stone waterfalls down into the darkness. The center of this platform has been arranged such that there is a chalk or something like a red circle with runes, primordial runes kind of etched all around it. There are candles burning. And in the center of this primordial sort of pseudo-pentagram lies the body of Unnamed. So she's covered from like the collarbone to the ankle in a black sheet, and she is lying with her eyes closed on this platform, and she has markings in that same like chalky kind of reddish stuff, like on her forehead and on her face and on her hands of like more sigils. Right, the body has been ritually prepared. And when you arrive, you see Vani stoking a fire. There's a big metal like crucible, and she's stoking a fire. And next to her is the goblet that you recovered to act as a vessel. So the attendants bring you to the edge of the cave entrance, and they say. Priestess Vani has allowed you entrance into this sacred space. We can go no further. This ritual is yours to participate in. And they turn to like let you go in. And when you walk in, they close these big stone doors, holding the outside out and the inside in. So they close it. And when they're shut, there is like an eerie quiet. Like you can almost hear the heat kind of crackling in the air and almost nothing else. And you see Vani kind of just preparing this crucible. You've been instructed to bring. You left Bahath with her, so you don't have to bring it. She has it, so you see it laying nearby.
Okay. Do we arrive together?
I think so. Yeah, I think you're all gathered up and then brought.
Are you wearing the robe?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So it takes the attunement process for you is mostly learning how to not like vomit immediately upon like opening, because you go from seeing three-dimensional, like stereoscopic in one direction to I can see everything around me all the time, even if I close my eyes. It's like sort of terrifying. And I think you spent that whole hour stumbling around your room, like throwing up into a plant and knocking shit over.
Taking it off and like putting it aside for a minute and like putting it back on and trying again.
Sounds terrible.
Oh, great. It's like as if your point of view is one of those weird 360 cameras.
Yeah.
And so you're looking at yourself like a stick and like everything is like, oh, it's so weird.
Yeah.
So as long as you're wearing the robe, consider that. You can see all around you, and it's completely skewed your ability to see. Also, I like that you go from playing the only like semi-permanently blind character to a character who can now see everything. Yeah, it's nice. So you're gathered. You see that the 10 Pillars is wearing the robe.
Okay. Yeah. Does Vani like tell us what to do?
She's still like a ways away. You can approach if you want.
Yeah, I'd walk forward. I would assume he's probably leading the group.
Okay.
The most eager, at least.
Yeah, I'm already over there. Talk with her.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So you head up. Vani, when you approach, she says in her own voice, she says, everything's about ready on this side. Ramus, come with me. And she leads you over to Unnamed, and she says, she points to Unnamed's like forehead, and she says, place your hand there. So you put your hand down on her forehead, and she says, once I have the essence of Bahath contained in the vessel, I'm going to place the vessel in your other hand. It's going to hurt, probably a lot. And then things are going to get kind of weird. And I don't think Agni knows what that part's going to look like because I don't know. And she told me all about the rest. So I'm sorry for the hurting part, but it should turn out okay. You're 10 pillars you're going to keep an eye out? If anything goes wrong, it should go wrong inside Ramus and not affect us, but it's good to know that you'll be watching in case, I don't know, anything. And she turns to you, Berg, and she says, I don't need you to do anything, but I think it would be helpful for you to watch, to see the kinds of sacrifices that your friends are willing to make for the people they care about. I know that's something you understand. I hope that it works out well for once.
Me too.
And she turns to you and she says, I know the sword doesn't mean anything to you anymore, but I spoke to it. Bahath remembers a lot that you've forgotten. Maybe some of that information, that memory, will be passed on to your friend, and she can tell you about it if everything goes okay. Berg isn't the only one who's made sacrifices. I know that now. You're very brave. After all of this is done, assuming we all survive, I'd like to talk to you about Amira.
Let's get this over with.
One thing at a time. So she says, I guess my part in this is done. So, I guess don't let me hit my head on the stones and she doesn't even get to finish the sentence before she goes shock stiff and her eyes roll back in her head and she staggers forward and her body language changes. It seems like she shrinks 2 inches and all of a sudden it's like a different person puppeting the body. And she shakes her head and she looks around and she says in that dual voice again, she's like, not bad, Vani. Not bad. Let's see what we can do. So she comes over to the sword and she opens the cloth, the oil cloth that she has on it, and it glitters. Sort of the surface of it glitters darkly in the dim light of the lava flows. And we see, again, we haven't really looked at Bahath very closely, but Bahath is a savage greatsword, right? It's like an enormous steel blade with a dragon's eye, opal in it, and it's a beautiful weapon. And I think all of you, regardless of what you're actually feeling, you feel some residual, Agni is feeling, it's a shame we have to melt this thing down. It's a beautiful sword. But Mahari, looking at it, it only causes you discomfort and sort of revulsion. You're the only one that's no, we don't. Let's get rid of this thing.
Yeah.
And she takes it and she holds it in her hand and she begins chanting in primordial. And she begins to chant. And she holds it out in front of her and she says some words, and we see runes start to glow on its surface as she holds it over the crucible. And you all feel, rather than hear or see, but you feel what it must be like to be a mouse when the shadow of an owl falls on you, right? You can feel leathery wings, you can feel heat, that deep-seated atavistic human feeling of be afraid of dragons. You feel that kind of wash over you. And she begins chanting again, and we would get subtitles as the viewers, but basically she is both admonishing and trying to command Bahath, right? She is I am Igni, sister of Novum, daughter of Imix, you serve me, dragon, but also talking about glorious Bahath, mighty Bahath, we have use for you yet, give up this form so that we may reintroduce you to another. And she places the blade, the tip of the blade, in the crucible and begins to lower it, and it starts to melt into this stone bowl. Very slowly, inch by inch, the steel warms, turns red, and becomes liquid as the thing slowly melts away until the last thing is that stone in the pommel, and it's just floating in there. Then it cracks, and you see Agni kind of screw her forehead up, bite her lip, and she mutters in common, okay, this is the hard part, don't fuck it up. And she places her hands over it, and we see waves of heat radiating from her hands as she seems to be pressing some invisible force down into the molten metal. And there's some back and forth. You see her straining, sweat beads on her forehead. She's trembling, and eventually there is a loud crack, right, of like thick glass breaking as the gem shatters and sinks into the crucible. And then she reaches down, and there's this like hot stone bowl, and she just picks it up, and it doesn't seem to like burn her at all. She picks it up and she tilts it, and she pours the steel into the goblet. And you can see it like shimmering. The surface of it moves like oil on water, and you keep seeing these kind of like draconic like forms. Like you'll see a claw or a wing kind of moving just on the surface of this big bowl cup. And she looks over at you 'cause she knows you're like looking around. Actually, she doesn't know you very well. So Berg, she looks over at you, and she holds the bowl, and in between chanting in primordial, she stops, she takes a breath, she looks at you, she's like, "So far, so good." And like winks at you and walks over to Ramus, and she says to you, she's like, "I don't want him to pass out or fall down. Can you hold him?"
Yeah, immediately.
I cast Death Ward on myself and also Bless, but right before she gives it to me.
Nice, yeah, okay. So you're like praying to your own thing to like give you power. And so you come over and like hold him
like
so
on
he
the
doesn't,
sides and
because
stuff.
he's got to you have to keep your hand on her the whole time, and you can't drop the vessel. So she holds it out, and I think she takes your wrist and she places it into your hand, and all of a sudden it's like the whole world is just like pain. It's like all of your nerves just fire with like drop it, get out of here, like you are dying, like feelings. And you feel like your body go weak. I think it's up to you, Dan, if you think Ramus like weathers this alone, or if like you need Berg to like help you hold the line.
I think I've been relying on Berg for so long, like I need him right now. Like it just hit me that I can't do this alone. I need someone there to help support me.
Yeah,
that's so cool. So and you can feel that.
I was
right?
gonna say Berg can immediately feel. He doesn't even need to say or look or anything. Berg just like goes right in there and helps hold and keep him steady.
Yeah,
because you can see that he's like about to peel back, and that's where he feels like that reliance.
Yeah,
that
and there's like
backpedaling.
tears streaming down Ramus's face from the pain. His like teeth are gritted, and you put your hand like on top of his like help maintain the link. And when she places your hand, that feeling of pain doesn't go away. It continues throughout the ritual. That feeling of being burned down to the skeleton, and so you feel that kind of wash over you, and then she says in primordial, the sacrifices have been made, the soul is free, let the battleground be joined. And you feel like you are turning inside out, and not in a physical way, but in a perception way. So instead of your ears and your eyes and your skin perceiving the world around you, you suddenly perceive the topography of your own soul. You see at first and for you, it's all overlapped at once. So you see a temple, an ancient temple in the jungle that kind of looks like the Monastery of the Sun, but smaller. So it's like a crumbled sort of temple, and there's like a jungle all around it. So you see that, but at the same time, you see an empty, a dark void in which a green sphere hangs, and strange energies kind of coalesce and move around in this emptiness. And then also simultaneously a field of burning, right? As if all the world were aflame, and in all directions fire and brightness scalds your eyes. And you see these three places overlapped all at once, and you can feel them flowing from one to another in this kind of chaotic jumble as they move back and forth. And we see, as your vision sort of fixates on one of these settings, we see creatures emerge from the jungle. We see first a great red-scaled claw step onto the beginnings of this pyramid, followed by a long, sinuous body, an enormous draconic head. And it looks like imagine like a red dragon, but stockier, like much bigger musculature, big, heavy scales that look like hardened lava, and from its jaws drips like a burning saliva that when it touches the ground, it ignites into flame. So we see this malevolent thing. There's no question in your mind, this is Bahath. You can feel him inside your soul, taking stock of the place, and like he unfurls these enormous wings of flame and like stretches out, kind of like, and the impression you get in your soul is like, finally some room to move around, right? Like you can feel him kind of taking stock of this new space, having been freed from the prison, and he notices, which draws your attention. He looks up, like sniffs the air and snarls, and he turns, and we see from the other side, from the jungle, we see emerge, almost at first like an amorphous, like a fog, like a fog of shadow. This black mist kind of comes out of the jungle, and from it congeals a delicate, sinuous, draconic claw made out of like shadow and black steel. And we see that, and then we see the rest of this like long, sinuous creature emerge from the darkness, both of the darkness and emerging from it. And you know at a glance, just simply by perceiving this, that this is the body's memories of the person you knew as unnamed. This is unnamed being awakened from the very material of the body, and the two entities lock eyes across this battlefield, and immediately we feel, right, unnamed, you awaken within this space in this new form. We feel what is at stake, that two dragons enter and one dragon will leave. And I think on that scene, and I don't know how much time we have left, but I think that might be our yeah, I think that's going to be our last shot, because I don't think we have time to do the whole thing.
Right,
so that's our last shot of the episode, is these two dragons emerging from the darkness and ready to battle for control over unnamed soul. So we'll pick up that ritual on the next episode of Court of Swords. Yeah.
Before you said that too, I knew we were like getting towards the end. And I was just like, what happens next? then what happens?
Dude,
Do
that
they
honestly
charge?
like might be the best like descriptive storytelling that I've ever experienced from you, dude. That was
very good.
so goddamn good.
Yeah, so we'll do next time we'll do what I have described in my notes as the Dragon Soul Smackdown.
Nice.
So I've got a custom dragons for both Bahath and for you, and then now I'll just give you the character sheet, and the two of you can fight, and we'll see.
Tuesday.
That's right.
At the Ramus Superdome.
Yeah. So Ramus, just as a sort of preparation thing too, and I'll go over it again at the beginning of the next episode, but you will have limited control. The battlefield will shift. Sometimes it'll shift in Bahath's favor. You can use you'll have like a turn to try to drag it back to a place where unnamed can like win. So you'll have some control over that environment.
Awesome.
Yeah, which should be cool. Experience? Should we do experience?
Yeah, let's do experience.
Do XP? Okay.
We'll do XP first and then shoutouts after.
All right.
Now,
my friends.
quick question. I was looking at both character sheets that I have here, and I remember I started 10 Pillars at 13th level, but at 13th level. Like, so
Yeah.
you start at, like, I think it was 130,000.
Whatever the base for 13 is.
Or whatever it is.
Yep.
But I have some left over from unnamed.
Yeah.
Do I count those ones like...
What XP does unnamed have right now?
Unnamed has 134,400.
Okay. And you have accumulated how much above your like base for 10 pillars?
What's the base of
level 13?
level 13?
Basically, anything you've earned for 10 pillars, you'll just take that and give it to unnamed.
Yeah.
That's all I want to know.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Put it on over.
So basically, you could have just started at 0 and been like, I have earned 2,000 or 5,000 or 8,000 or whatever.
Yep.
So,
Yep. Okay.
okay, let me get my little calculator here, and we will sort it out. Okay, so Ramus.
120. Okay.
You worked on securing land for the temple. You worked so hard. You tried so hard.
Yeah.
So you worked on securing land for the temple. You worked on bringing unnamed back to life. And I think you worked on turning 10 pillars into an ally. I don't know. 10 pillars, are you an ally yet?
Yes.
Okay, so you succeeded at that goal. Fantastic. I agree. It seems that way.
Be
too.
like,
I'm fucking actually.
Yeah.
Well, I was willing to like give up everything. Like,
Yeah, totally.
take the punishment.
I like how
and shit
you're
that,
you're like, no, I walk over to Ramus and Berg and I kick Ramus into the pit.
Yes.
See you later,
jerk. I
Gotcha.
slapped the goblin out of his hand.
Now your girlfriend's dead for real. Oh wait, that was my character. All right, so that's a medium goal. So that's ×2 plus what do you get? 750 for each work done.
Yep.
Okay. Plus another 750. So 7,100 for Ramus Krill.
Okay.
7,100 for Ramus. Lovely. Okay. Berg, you completed your learning more about the belt, and you worked on bringing Unnamed back. So let me get you experience for that. So it's
I'll need you to put it in. My
yeah,
thing
yeah,
if you
that's
don't,
cool. 750 plus. You also completed a medium goal. 2,800 plus another 2,800. 6,250.
That gets me pretty close.
6,250. I'll make a note. Berg gets.
The next one's 190.
190.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just
I was at like
190.
184 or so.
Maybe.
that close?
You are at 182,490
So
It might be like 1,000 off.
plus the 6,250. You are at 1,000 or 188,740.
close.
Yeah, you're close.
So minus 195.
Oh, it's
cool with that.
195. So
You need
6,200.
6,260.
Cool.
So another session like this, and you're level 16. Sick.
I'm happy with that.
Okay.
Felt productive.
That's good.
Let me do that math again. What did we say you had? 18.8 something?
Oh, are you talking about me?
No,
No,
I'm
I'm
trying
talking
to
about
figure
Berg.
out what
Okay.
max is. You know what? I wrote it down. I'll add it to you later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So you'll need a new goal for next time too. Maharib. I think you worked on all 3 of your goals.
Yeah, I think we'll complete both. We'll complete the bottom 2.
I
next
think you're right.
episode.
Yeah, the finding peace and ensuring unnamed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like if you want a massive Maharib like void edge heel turn, you could instead of being like finding peace, you could just be like,
Just
no,
kill
the
someone."
soul is for her. Blah! And just like attack Ramus, attack Berg, and be like, Amira, run away with it.
Yeah.
All right. So for you, you're level 15.
Just
Yeah.
fucking yoink the chalice.
Yeah. Drinks the whole thing. It's mine. All right. 2250 for you this session. And then 10 pillars. You worked on seeing the ritual through and returning to grave dirt. So you worked on those 2. And for you, 13 times 50. These are worth 650 apiece.
What were my goals again? I don't have access to them.
Yeah. See the ritual through, succeed or fail.
Okay.
And you worked on that one.
Okay.
So that's 650.
Right.
And then you worked on returning to grave dirt with a newly sold unnamed.
Yep.
Right? Had that big conversation about that and obviously everything you've been doing.
Yep.
And then you kept your companions free of division interference, right? Maharib sunk the basket, but you got the assist and the goal, it happened, right?
Yep.
So that was, I believe that was a medium. So let me see what that is for level 13. Plus 4,400. So your total is 5,700. 5,700 for pillars.
Yep.
Cool. There
Cool.
you go.
Let's do shout-outs.
Let's do it.
Zeke, I know you're doing stuff, but we'll
Yeah,
start on
that's
that
fine.
side of the table and go around like we did when we introduced everyone. So do some shout-outs, sir.
Hey guys, I'm Ezekiel the Third.
So you want to start with me then?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Dude, every time, man, this is such a joy, such a treat. Thank you to everyone that's sitting at the table for sitting at the table with me, rolling real dice, getting hot and sweaty, like some sweaty ass nerds, man. This has been great. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Ezekiel the Third. You can find me @Ezekiel_III on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. I'll be back. I'll be flying back tomorrow, so my first stream back will be Monday, right? Yeah, because Sunday we'll be taking up with travel. So I'll be back on Monday doing something. I don't know. I'm probably going to start a new game. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe Disco Elysium. But yeah, so thanks to everybody for watching. Follow me. That's it. That's all I got. I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you.
I'd like to give a special shout out to Zeke for helping me with all the math. Right here. I didn't have to
Yeah.
do a
Zeke,
goddamn thing. I'm just
Zeke
like,
the human
what? Oh, 34.
calculator.
Cool. Great. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, for watching. I look forward to these just as much as everybody here at this table, I'm sure. We talk about it a lot beforehand, how excited we are just to be here and playing amongst each other and also just being locked in. I always feel like I'm a lot more locked into what's happening just because there's not that disconnect of the internet and potentially talking over each other and stuff, but you're just much more present, and it's really, really cool. I hope you guys enjoy it as much as we love doing these so we can continue to do more of them. But for me, I'm GassyMexican on the internet. Pretty much look me up on anything, Twitch and all that stuff. That's what it is under. I'm a variety caster, and yeah, if you want to check me out, go for it. But if you want to just keep coming back to the ear and for these things, I'm happy with that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching.
Cool. Adam, some shout-outs?
Yeah, I'll do it. Well, thank you for coming, everybody, for watching. Like these guys said, the live shows are always super fun. It's really cool to get to engage, and you think that these episodes are the ones where you're like, yeah, and everything's gonna be big and ridiculous and exciting. But I find that the live stuff is often like quieter and more intimate and intense in that way, and I thought that was super cool. I had several moments that I really enjoyed this time. Special thanks, of course, to Scoots, to Alchemist for running the production, making us look and sound so good. Thanks, guys. And to
There you go.
and obviously to our patrons at patreon.com/rollplay for giving us the money to do these kinds of things. So thank you for that, everybody. You can find me on the internet. I'm on Twitter at Skinnyghost or twitch.tv/AdamKoble. If you want to see any of the GM prep stuff that I did for this episode and get a little sneak preview of the Big Dragon Smackdown, you can find my prep videos over on my YouTube channel. Same name, it's Adam Koble. Go and check that out. That's it for me. JP?
Cool. Yeah, I'll do some shout-outs. I'll echo the huge thanks to Scoots and Alchemist out there for running the sticks and kind of building this and preparing us all weekend for this. You guys always kill it out there. Shout out to Barry and Daniel and kind of everyone else behind the scenes who help put all this stuff together. For you guys for coming cross-country. Hopefully the weather goes well tomorrow and you guys can get back home. We'll see how that goes. And then I think we're back on Tuesday with another episode of Court of Swords.
Yeah,
so
we shouldn't have to wait long before the Big Dragon situation.
If you want to see the conclusion of this kind of arc, perhaps that'll be on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, which is our normal time. We hope to see you guys all there. Also, next Sunday, we're doing a special roleplay one-shot. It'll be our final one-shot of the year. It'll be myself, Adam, Dodger, and the Butterfield twins.
The Butterfield twins.
As we've so called them. They're not twins, but
not. No.
they're brothers. It's Asa Butterfield and his brother Morgan. If you've seen Ender's Game or Sex Education on Netflix, then you know who Asa Butterfield is. They're going to be joining us for a Dungeon World one-shot, which will be next Sunday. I think it's 6 p.m. Eastern is when that's going to go down.
Yes.
We'll have more details on Twitter over at twitter.com/roleplay if you want to find out the full details on that. So that's it for me. Dan, you want to close us out with some shout-outs?
Sure. I want to see that fucking dragon battle. Like,
I know,
that was such a tease.
Dude, he fucking hyped it up during the lunch break, and I was like, God damn it, when we ended, I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Another super fun episode. Doing the live show is so much different and even more awesome just to roll the physical dice and like see the people in the room, like not just us on a screen. It's just so much more intimate and fun, and I love doing the live shows. And I'm DansGaming, a variety streamer on Twitch. I'll be back streaming either late tomorrow or Monday. And I don't know what I'll be playing, but you check me out if you want.
Cool. Adam, you want to take us home? You're making the Q&A thread.
I'm in the middle of making the Q&A thread.
Yeah, no, I'll promote that real quick. If you have questions for us or Adam about today's show, you can go over to community.itmeJP.com. There's a Q&A thread there that Adam is currently posting as I'm watching him doing it right now. It's live.
It's happening.
Go ask us questions, and we'll get in there and answer them hopefully in the next probably 24 to 48 hours.
Also, thank you to Aaron for providing food and
yes,
and
of
helping
course.
us.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you for feeding
Solid food
us.
is always
Fantastic.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Adam, you want to take us out?
Yes. Yeah, that's it for today's live episode. Thank you so much for coming, everybody. Court of Swords is a delight, and it's because you were here to watch us that we do it. So thank you. We will see you next time for more Roleplay Court of Swords.